Good morning, students. I hope you all are good. So today we will continue chapter number 4, and today we are going to discuss Fleming left hand rule, concept of electric motor, then electromagnetic induction, and we will see some activity based on electromagnetic induction, then Fleming right hand rule, and finally we will see electric generator. Okay, alternating current AC and DC, this has been reduced. Okay, so this no need to study. So first of all, what is Fleming left hand rule? So if you want to study Fleming left hand rule, then what you have to do? You have to use your left hand. So according to Fleming left hand rule, first of all, stretch your fingers, forefinger, thumb and middle finger of your left hand such that they all are perpendicular to each other. See, you can see this is perpendicular, thumb and index finger is perpendicular, and index finger and middle finger is perpendicular. So you have to do like this of your left hand, and you have to start your statement. If index finger show the direction of magnetic field and middle finger show the direction of electric current, then thumb will show the direction of force on the conductor. Understood? I repeat, the statement of Fleming left hand rule is stretch your index finger, middle finger and thumb of your left hand such that they all are perpendicular to each other. If you have to start from, if index finger show the direction of magnetic field, middle finger show the direction of electric current, then thumb will show the direction of force on the conductor. So sometimes, like MCQ, questions will come, Fleming left hand rule gives. Your answer should be the direction of force on the conductor. Okay, Fleming left hand rule is used to find the direction of force on the conductor. Okay, so in the Fleming right hand rule, see in next topic, here is Fleming right hand rule. So one thing is common in Fleming left hand rule and Fleming right hand rule, that is index finger. In index finger always gives direction of magnetic field. Okay, now your next topic is electric motor. So what is electric motor? So electric motor we see in our day-to-day life. So electric motor is a device which convert electrical energy into mechanical energy. Understood? So electric motor is a device which converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. Okay, So it is used in fans, refrigerators, mixtures, washing machines, computer, pumps, etc. Okay. So today we are going to discuss construction and working of electric motor. So first of all, we will study construction of electric motor and working of electric motor. See, here construction of electric motor is given, and this is the working of electric motor is given. So, see, there are two magnets, or we can say there are two poles of the magnet, one is north pole and south pole. This is the rectangular coil. See, A, B, C, D is a rectangular coil. Okay. See, this one is split ring. This one, two split rings are here, X, X and Y. This is E and F. E and F is a carbon brush which is attached or which is in contact, which makes the contact between split ring. Okay. And here is the inside is the resistive coating. Inside is the resistive coating. Okay. So the construction of electric motor is see, it is written here, so you can read here. The electric motor consists of a rectangular loop of copper wire having resistive coating. Why we use resistive coating? So that resistive coating protect from electric shock. Okay, as shown in the figure. It is placed, this is rectangular coil, A, B, C, D is the rectangular coil which is placed between north pole and south pole of a magnet. And we know that magnetic lines of force originate from north pole to south pole, that is invisible. This is invisible, but here is many magnetic lines of force. So this rectangular coil is placed in the magnetic field. Okay, in such a way that its branch A, B and C, D are perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. See, this is the direction of magnetic field and this is the direction of coil A, B, C, D. So this is the direction of magnetic field. This is the direction of coil A, B, C, D. So this is the perpendicular to the coil A, B, C, D is the perpendicular to the magnetic field. The two ends of the loops are connected to the two halves X and Y. See, X, here is X and here is Y of the split ring. See, this is rectangular coil A, B, C, D is the rectangular coils, and the two ends of the rectangular coils are connected to the split ring X and Y. Okay. The two halves of the rings have resistive coating on the inner surface. I have already explained you. In inner surface have resistive coating on the inner surface and are tightly fitted on the axle. And this split ring is tightly fitted on axle. This is axle. This is axle. The two halves of the split ring X and Y have their outer conducting surfaces in the contact with two stationary carbon brushes E and F respectively. See, and this split ring X, this is brush, you can say this is brush B1, this one is brush B2. The split ring X is in contact with carbon brush B1 and Y is in contact with brush B2. So this was the construction of electric motor. Now we are going to discuss working of electric motor. So when current passes through the branch A, B, C, D, according to Fleming left-hand rule, arm AB experience a force in downward direction and arm CD experience a force in upward direction. Arm AB is in downward direction and on arm CD, according to Fleming left-hand rule, arm CD experience a force towards upward direction. So it will rotate like in the direction anti-clockwise direction. This will rotate. One is downward direction and the another is upward direction. So the coil AB will rotate in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, you can see here, according to Fleming left-hand rule, a force exerted on the branch AB and pushes it down. The current in the CD branch is in the opposite direction to that in the AB branch, and therefore a force is exerted on the branch CD in upward direction. Thus, the loop and the axle start rotating in the anti-clockwise direction. I have already explained to you. After half rotation, the two halves of the split ring X and Y come in the contact with DCBA. Listen, see, this will rotate in anti-clockwise direction. So after half rotation, this arm will come here and arm AB will come here. Now arm CD, now this arm CD will come here and arm AB will come here. So after half rotation, on arm CD, there will be a force that is in downward direction, and on arm AB there will be force in upward direction. So it will be continue rotating. Okay. Therefore a force is exerted on the branch DC in downward direction and on the downward direction and on the branch BA in upward direction, and the loop continue to rotate in the anti-clockwise direction. Thus, the current in the loop is reversed after each half rotation, and the loop and the axle continue to rotate in anti-clockwise direction. Okay. So one thing I want to tell you, what is the function of a split ring? What is the function of split ring? Or we can say, what is split ring? So split ring is a device which is used to change the direction of electric current. Okay. Split ring is a device which is used to change the direction of electric current. Okay. This is important. Construction. What is electric motor? What is the construction of the electric motor and what is the working of electric motor. This is very, very important. Now your next topic is electromagnetic induction. Electromagnetic induction. So what is electromagnetic induction? So electromagnetic induction is a process. It is a process in which by changing magnetic field in a conductor induces a current in another conductor is called electromagnetic induction. Understood? So I will explain this with the help of one diagram. Okay. Before this diagram and this diagram and this diagram, I will tell you something about galvanometer. What is galvanometer? This is reduced, okay? No need to study this. But I will explain what is galvanometer. So simply we can say galvanometer is a current sensitive device. What is galvanometer? It is a current sensitive device. With the help of galvanometer, we can tell whether current is present in the circuit or not. Okay? So galvanometer is the current sensitive device. Just you remember this only. So there is one activities you can see here. Here is a wire. Here is a wire magnet. This is a galvanometer. So if there is no electric current in the circuit, then the needle will be on zero reading, on zero. And if there is a current, then this needle will deflect either in this direction or in this direction. If needle is on the position of 0, it means there is no current in the circuit. Okay? See, this is a wire, this is a wire magnet, and this wire is connected with the help of galvanometer. So if you move this away from the bar magnet, initially this is the position of wire A, and if you move this away from the magnet, this wire will be tight, and this will be the position of B. So if you move this away from the bar magnet, there will be deflection. Say the deflection is in this direction. When you move this away from the bar magnet, and if you bring towards the bar magnet, then this time deflection will be in this direction. Okay? If you move this, deflection, say this is in this direction, and if you bring back to the original position, then deflection will be this direction. And if this become stationary, then needle will become on the 0 position. Okay? So in this activity, when the current in the solenoid coil is switched on or off, this is a solenoid. This is a solenoid. This is connected with the battery. This is the coil. This is the coil. And here is the galvanometer. So this coil is connected with galvanometer. If we switch on, so we know that solenoid behaves like a bar magnet. So say this is north pole, this is south pole. So we know that magnetic lines of force always originated from north pole and it terminated on south pole. Okay, So if you turn on the battery, there is change in magnetic field. And due to change in magnetic field, in this galvanometer shows deflection in the reading. Okay? If you switch off, listen, one important thing I want to tell you. When there is changing in magnetic field, only there is deflection. If there is no change in magnetic field around the coil or wire, there will be no deflection. The pointer of the galvanometer will be on 0 position. Okay? So in this activity, when a current is passing through a solenoid, current is passing through the solenoid coil, and the coil is displaced laterally with respect to coil. Now this time, when a current is passing through the solenoid coil, and the coil is displaced laterally with respect to coil. Now this is stationary, and this you have to move. This is stationary, and this coil you have to move. So again, if you move laterally, either in this direction or in this direction, there will be change in the magnetic field in the coil. So due to change in the magnetic field, this galvanometer shows the deflection. Okay? Say if you move the coil in this direction, so there is deflection in this direction. If you bring the coil in this direction, in the original position, now this time deflection will be in this direction. So if you changing the coil, the position of the coil, there will be deflection. If this coils comes in a stationary position, or there is no movement, then there will be no any current in the galvanometer. Okay? So I want to tell you the direction of induced current, because I have already told you what is electromagnetic induction. So here actual current is flowing in the coil, but see, here is no any there is no any cell or battery is connected through the coil. There is no. This is galvanometer. Galvanometer. What is galvanometer? It is a current detecting device. So there is no any cell or battery. So actually current is flowing in this coil only. So due to change in the magnetic field in the coil, here in this coil, induced current is produced. So current in the coil is known as induced current, because this is not original current in the coil. This current is produced due to the solenoid, or we can say due to the change in magnetic field. So here it will be the original current, but here the current produced in the coil will be called induced current. Okay? So induced current is due to some other coil, or we can say due to the change in magnetic field. Understood? This is remember. Now, Fleming right hand rule. Now your next topic is Fleming right hand rule. So what is Fleming right hand rule? So again, now you have to use your right hand. So first statement is common in Fleming left hand rule and Fleming right hand rule. The first statement you have to start. If questions come, what is Fleming right hand rule? So what you have to write? You will write first sentence is stretch your index finger, middle finger and thumb of your right hand such that they all are perpendicular to each other. First sentence is common in both Fleming left hand rule and Fleming right hand rule. You can see here. Fleming left hand rule was stretch your index finger, middle finger and thumb of your left hand such that they all are perpendicular to each other. And here is again same. And second sentence you will write, if, you have to start from if index finger show the direction of magnetic field and thumb show the direction of motion of the conductor, then at last you have to use then middle finger will show the direction of induced current. Then middle finger will show the direction of induced current. Okay, so I repeat, if questions come what is Fleming right hand rule, then you will say stretch your index finger, middle finger and thumb of your right hand such that they all are perpendicular to each other. Okay, if forefinger or index finger show the direction of magnetic field and thumb show the direction of motion of the conductor, then middle finger, this will come at last, then middle finger will show the direction of induced current. So sometimes questions come, Fleming right hand rule is used to find direction of induced current, and Fleming right hand rule is used to find the direction of induced current, and Fleming left hand rule is used to find the direction of force on the conductor. This you have to remember. Okay, introduction to scientist, this is reduced. Okay, this is reduced, so no need to study. Alternating current, direct current, this is also reduced. Okay, so no need to study this. Now your next topic is electric generator. So what is electric generator? So we can say electric generator is a device which is used to convert mechanical energy into electrical energy. What is electric generator? It is a device which is used to convert mechanical energy into electrical energy. It is just opposite to electric motor. In electric motor, electrical energy is converting into mechanical energy, but electric generator we convert mechanical energy into electrical energy. It is of two types. AC generator and DC generator. So how you will define AC generator? So you can define a device which convert mechanical energy into electrical energy in the form of AC. AC means alternating current. That is called AC generator. And what is DC generator? So then you can define a device which convert mechanical energy into electrical energy in the form of DC. DC means direct current. Then that is called DC generator. Now we will see construction. In your syllabus you have to study AC generator, not DC generator. Okay. So here is the first of all construction. Construction is like a electric motor, but there is some difference. So again, the coil ABCD is placed in the magnetic field. Okay, here is two rings R1 and R2 and two brushes B1 and B2. Here is a galvanometer. Actually B rotate mechanically axle. Okay, because electric generator is a device which convert mechanical energy. That's why we have to apply a force on the axle. If you apply the force on axle, this coil will rotate in the magnetic field, and if this coil rotate in the magnetic field, see here is the magnetic lines of force from north to south. It is invisible. See, invisible, but you have to consider this is the magnetic lines of force, and if you rotate the axle, this coil cuts the magnetic lines of force, and if this magnetic lines of force, this coil cuts the magnetic lines of force, there is a induced current in the coil according to Fleming right hand rule. We know that if, or we can say, you remember just if coil ABCD rotates in the magnetic field, this coil ABCD cuts the magnetic lines of force due to, or we can say, there is the change in magnetic field in the coil. So due to change in the magnetic field in the coil, there will be induced current produced. Induced current will be produced in the coil ABCD according, and the direction of induced current will be, we can find the direction of induced current with the help of Fleming right hand rule, because Fleming right hand rule is used to find the direction of induced current. Okay, so here is the working. You can see here, according to Fleming right hand rule, electric current is produced in the branches AB and CD in the AB and CD in the direction A to B. Current is C. A to B and C to D. Current with the direction of current will be A to B and C to D according to Fleming left hand rule. Thus, the current flows in the direction A, B, C, D. Current will flow A, B, C, D through the coil. As shown in the figure. But in the external circuit, the current flows from B to A1, B to V1. Current will flow this is external circuit. Internally in the coil, current will flow from A, B, C, D. But externally, current will flow from brush B to B1 through galvanometer. Okay, through the galvanometer. If instead of one loop, one coil, a coil consisting of several turns. See, this is for understanding purpose. Here is only one coil, but practically there is many number of turns. If many number of turns will be here, the magnitude of electric current will be large. For the understanding purpose, we show only one rectangular coil. Okay. The current of magnitude several times flows. After half rotation, this branch AB will come here and CD will come here. After half rotation, this arm AB will come here, and if rotate in this direction, so after half rotation, AB will come here and DC will come here. Okay. After half rotation, the branch AB takes the place of branch CD, of course, and the branch CD take the position of branch AB. Therefore, the induced current goes in next half cycle. Current will flow from DCBA. But the branch BA, this is BA is always in the contact with the brush B1. This branch BA is always in the contact with brush B1, and branch DC and the branch CD is always contact with brush B2. Hence, in the external circuit, current flows from B1 to B2. Now, in next half cycle, current will flow from B1 to B2 through the galvanometer. So we can say in first half cycle current is flowing in the external circuit from brush B2 to B1 through the galvanometer, but in next half cycle current is flowing from B1 to B2. In first half cycle B2 to B1, in next half cycle B1 to B2. So this is alternate. This is alternate. Hence the external circuit current flows from B1 to B2, that is opposite to the previous half rotation. This repeats after every half rotation and alternating current is produced. That's why this is called AC generator. AC means alternating current generator. This has been reduced, okay? This has been reduced. So this was your chapter number 4. All about chapter number 4, that is effects of electric current, okay? So the main the important topic of this from this chapter is electric motor. Electric motor you have to study very well. Construction, working, diagram you have to learn. Then Fleming left hand rule. What is Fleming left hand rule? Fleming right hand rule. Electromagnetic induction. Electric motor. Okay, so in the next lecture we will discuss chapter number 5, that is heat. Okay, thank you.